early commentaries discussing this, but he's saying that something that requires effort, by definition, has a limit. There is a certain point to which Hashem says the span of effort is only going to last so long. It's only so big. There's only so much that it makes sense to put in for the design of accomplishing this task. Now, he doesn't say why. He doesn't explain it into any of the commentary. The only thing I saw is that in this one, he says over here, on the bottom, this is the author speaking here. Who is the author? I should say it. I should say his name. Kenzie's calling. Rabbi Abba Tzvi Naiman, from Baltimore. Okay. Okay, so now we can listen.
You should know his name comes up in almost every article.
Oh, really? Okay. This is Feldheim.
Well, he's not
Oh. So he says, perhaps since humans are finite creations of Hashem, anything involving their efforts must be limited. Only closest to Hashem can be eternal. I'm going to leave that one for everyone to think about on their own. I'll read it one more time. Perhaps since humans are finite creations of Hashem, anything involving their efforts must be limited. I'm not sure why that's the case, because we work with a system of build-up. We build on what was previously accomplished.
Also means that you're bound by things.
Correct, but if there's a goal we need to reach, if I don't reach it, I have children who are going to reach it. If they don't reach it, they have children.
But the definition of having a goal to reach is finite.
That's not what's infinite. The goal is definitely finite. He's saying here that the span of effort is limited. The span of anything that requires effort needs to have a boundary.
Why?
That's what I don't know. I don't know why.
Is that to keep us from going insane?
It's possible, but Hashem could have simply just made us not go insane. Right? 2,000 years you'd think would also be enough to make us go insane, but it didn't, right?
If we have free will, we also have free will to go off the deep end.
Correct.
Quickly. And
that's still there. But
right.
Giving it a 2,000-year limit isn't changing that.
Anything related to humans should be within boundaries.
But my question is, if Hashem says this is a goal we got to reach level 100, that's where Adam was. I'm going to give you 2,000 years to get there. Why? Why can't it be? Why does it have to have an end date? Why can't there be an unlimited amount of time that it'll take till we finally get there? He doesn't explain it. I'm open to ideas if anybody has. Stephen's going to start talking about infinity in a minute.
Does that line up?
Well, all I know is I don't know, but I've read that, I don't know if it's the Ari or maybe even the Ramchal, or it could have been maybe Akiva said that ultimately, I think it's the Ramchal and the Ari, that it's going to all go back up at some point. The whole thing, all the universe, the whole creation is going to go back up in a certain time frame, whether the rectifications happen or not. It's all, maybe it's in the 10,000th year. It's all going back up to Ein Sof. The whole thing.
Okay.
That's
not related to this, though.
But I mean, in the end,
that's the time limit.
That's the time limit. It's over. That's it. Yeah. It's all going back into infinity.
But that's not because our efforts have.
Not because effort or no effort.
So that's not what he's talking about. His words are anything that requires our efforts, kol mashu hishtadlus, anything that's our hishtadlus, our trying, our effort.
Right.
Sarach sheyeh legvul has to have a boundary, has to have an end. So it's not related to what you're talking about. You're talking about the fact that everything works in a cycle.
Yeah.
Everything started with this infinity and will eventually come back to that. That's not related to this. This is a step in middle. And we're saying that one of those steps in middle has to have a finite beginning and end.
Well, if it didn't have an end, then that would be infinity unto itself. So the effort would be infinite. If the effort's infinite, then you don't have finitude. If you don't have finitude, you can't have boundaries. And without boundaries, you don't have mitzvahs. And without mitzvahs, you don't have Torah.
No. That's not what he's saying.
I have another idea.
Why? He's saying that we can not continuously grow. He's saying that whenever there's something that we need to put in effort, there has to be a limitation to that. Hashem is saying anything that's your job, there is an end to. My job, there's no end. My job is infinite. I am infinite, Hashem says.
Correct.
Everything that's related to me can be infinite. Something that's your job has to be finite.
Correct.
Why?
Because there needs to
Well, I
be a
don't know where
mindfulness.
this-
Why can't there be this continual growth that just goes on?
That's not true.
Because
I don't see that to be
Because we're not Hashem?
Our purpose,
Yeah.
our purpose is very different in the scheme of things as human beings than Hashem's purpose is in creation. Hashem was here before us. Hashem will be here after us. His purpose is to continuously create everything that happens in the world. Our purpose is to accomplish something, and then we're done. So when we accomplish that thing that Hashem put us here to accomplish, our job is finished.
Correct.
And then we move on to be part of Hashem or whatever that
Correct.
means
Yes.
to be part of His continuum.
Absolutely. Every word is
So
true.
because our purpose is different, and Hashem's purpose is to be finite,
Infinite.
not to be infinite, and our purpose is to be finite. So then, of course, everything that we do has to come to an end at some point. Whereas everything that Hashem does never comes to an end. because
Okay,
Hashem's
so
purpose
all right,
is-
so what Brian is saying is what Rabbi Naaman
Name.
is saying over here on the bottom, and that is by definition of the fact that mankind is a creation, and creations are by definition finite because they're not Hashem himself, and only Hashem is infinite. So by that definition, anything that we have to do also has to be finite.
Right.
Okay?
That's what we were saying.
Okay.
And I think that's associated with the mindfulness.
I'm not so comfortable with that idea, personally. Because in my mind, there can be an infinite cycle that will eventually reach an end, not because the cycle itself was infinite, but because it just took that long to get there.
Well, just the fact that it had to get somewhere means it's not infinite.
Why?
That's what I'm saying.
Why can't there be a goal?
Because it comes to an end.
Doesn't. It comes to an end if I end it, but it doesn't mean it is by definition finite. Meaning Hashem gave it a time limit. Hashem said you have this much time to accomplish it. If you don't, game over.
Okay?
Why? Why can't it be Hashem says, I will now give you eternity to accomplish this goal?
Isn't every mitzvah have eternity in it? Isn't it there's an infinite
Every mitzvah is a connection to eternity.
infinity? So it's
Yes.
so that by definition it's also limited. Or is it infinite?
When you do a mitzvah,
Is a
you're
mitzvah
not- you're
infinite?
not
A mitzvah, the act of the mitzvah is finite. The accomplishment of the mitzvah is infinite. The accomplishment of the mitzvah is spiritual.
So then there's our connectivity right there. To infinity.
Wait,
I
say what you said
understand,
again?
but I don't understand why Hashem couldn't have said
Why do you make a
there's
time
an
frame?
infinite amount of time for this
Finite
goal to
amount
be
of time.
accomplished.
Yeah, but
I
I think
know.
we have to make a differentiation between mitzvah, which accomplishes Hashem's goal,
Yes.
versus our ability to accomplish the mitzvah. So
Why?
So because our ability to accomplish a mitzvah ends at a certain point. When we go to a cemetery, we talk in our tzitzis. Why? Because the dead can't accomplish mitzvahs anymore.
Correct.
But the mitzvahs that they accomplished are infinite.
Correct.
That helps
Yes.
them get to Shemayim. So our purpose is finite, and Hashem's continuation of whatever it is that we accomplish on earth is infinite.
That's what he says.
I agree.
But not-
I agree. I'm trying to figure out why it has to be that way.
Right, that's what he's asking.
He's saying that this is for some reason, I'm assuming he's just saying this is simple logic that I'm clearly missing.
Created to be finite. Hashem is the infinite.
I understand, but why does that mean that Hashem has to give it a time frame?
Wait, hold on.
Because we're on time frames. We are in the realm of time. He is not in the realm of time.
A couple.
Like, what time does class start?
Not when you get, when Brad gets here.
One with the truth is right.
Okay, but wait, a couple
Go ahead.
weeks ago, we read about the fact that when it comes to getting multiple chances,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That some people, there's a certain number of chances they get,
yeah,
and then they're not doing the thing, so that then they're done,
yes,
right?
yes.
So is that maybe what they're referring to as far as the finite time? Are you saying finite?
No, this is
amongst
an actual
everybody?
number of years. This is 2,000 years.
I don't know, maybe it's just impatient. Kidding. I don't know.
Good joke.
I know.
No, he's saying this is a statement of fact. Anything that is about hishtadlus, it's about effort, has to have limitations. I kind of get it. I'm not fully convinced. I'm not so comfortable with the concept yet. I'm gonna keep working at it. But anyway, all right. As long as everyone else gets it, we're good. We can move on. But I will say that it is important to take this idea to heart when it comes to the things that we try to accomplish in life. It is important to give yourself deadlines and boundaries where you say, if I haven't accomplished something by a certain point in time, it's time to switch tracks. You know, give yourself that boundary ahead of time so you don't just run yourself infinitely into the ground. You know, you got to give yourself guidelines. It's a very important thing.
Consciousness and that mindfulness that is associated with human effort and is by definition limited.
That doesn't mean that the people were aware of that. You think that people who were alive during those first 2,000 years were aware that there's a deadline to the world?
Was it being
I have no reason to think so.
But why would they have to be aware of it?
Well, because you're talking about this conscious decisions.
No,
Not a conscious
no, I'm saying in general, human activity is based, like when we're making New Year's resolutions,
Yeah.
we're motivated, just like Hashem's, what I imagine the way Hashem maintains the world is through a thought. There's like a lever, the thought goes in, and it's like turned on, but every second it's being maintained. With us, we have similarly, when we have put effort in, we need to have a mindfulness. We need to have but our mindfulness is a consciousness. It takes more effort. It's draining on us, and it's therefore limited. How many things we can do and what we can do, and like you were saying,
is your being
direction.
tired affecting your children?
Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
They can't try hard because you already tried hard?
No, but they will.
So why can't there be an infinite number of generations?
I hear.
That's all.
The initial, I don't know if this is even related, I'm just reaching. Infinity, Ein Sof, had in order for Ein Sof to even create, Ein Sof itself had to restrict itself, meaning it had to do a Tzimtzum. Inside the Tzimtzum, that created space for finitude. You know, so in order, and really, if you want to look at being built in Tzelem Elohim, there has to be a limit. We have time to create, right? I don't know if this makes any sense, but even infinite had to constrain or constrict itself in order to make space for finiteness.
Correct.
Finiteness cannot be infinite. Finiteness can only be finite. So we have to. So in that, if you're just using the Tzimtzum, just the restriction, the constriction, the retraction, whatever you want to call it. So we have to have a time. There's no way around this. There's no way. So Hashem, He, it only fits into the system that there's going to have to be a universal symptom. That this is it. There's got to be a time frame. There's nothing outside that because if not, it's all infinite. I don't understand why it's 2,000 years. Why that? Why not 10,000?
2,000 years. I didn't see that.
Why not?
Not yet. No, I didn't say it yet.
Oh, okay. It doesn't say it yet.
Did you read ahead?
Yes. Aren't you glad?
So, but what I'm saying is the constriction of Ein Sof is the constriction also that we have to have as finite beings. We have to have constriction. Then there has to be constriction not only in our behaviors and in our mindsets and in our various activities, whatever, but there also has to be constriction in time. And whatever that time is, I don't know where they got the number from. That I don't understand. But I can understand how there has to be a self-symptom and there has to be a universal symptom. So because that's what Hashem did in order to create the whole universe. And He continues to do that right now. Because if Hashem wasn't continuously doing the symptom, this whole thing would just go to null and void back into infinity.
I understand.
I don't know. If that
Okay,
makes any
so
sense.
what you're saying is that the concept of creation, by definition, means that everything within it is finite.
Right.
And
In some
therefore, human effort has to be contained within that.
Correct.
And couldn't be infinite.
Because that's how.
Okay.
If we go with what the Ari and what the Rashash and all the other Tzaddikim say, this is how it began, is the symptom.
Right.
But that's how.
Okay. All right. Let me think about that a little while. Okay, very good. Oh boy. Yeah. We didn't get very far, did we?
Oh, we did. We went very far.
I mean, we could finish
That's what
solid.
your definition of far is.
Right. We went deep. We didn't go far. We didn't go out. We went down or in.
All right. Yeah, all right. We're gonna have to stop here because the next thing really takes a while to get through. We're up to Gimel. We're up to Gimel.
Now we're back.
Now.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
See, I
Thank you all for coming.
That was my purpose for today.
Perfect.
What?
Good job. We're glad you joined us. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye bye.